I'll leave the rest up to Jabu. He knows all the different things. Thanks so much. I've received so many people sending apologies. People whose houses have been flooded, people who the roads have been flooded. The local newspaper contacted me this morning and said, "Aren't you cancelling?" And I contacted my aunt, and she was like, "No." And here we are. So thank you very, very much. But another book launch, you might say. I mean, weren't we here a year ago? But yes, this one's not just Mary Lange, but thank you, Maha, for saying that. But I did compile it. It is based on research, or triggered by research that I did, and which has then blossomed as the years have gone by. But now I'm handing over the baton to the younger people, and as you say, you will see if you read the book, that it includes many voices and many languages and many parts of South Africa. So, geomotional can be a noun, can be a verb, can be an adverb, can be an adjective. Are you feeling geomotional tonight? Yes. Are you Noluthando Shandu? Are you Angela Del Fava? And are you Jabu Nxumalo? From shadows to spirits, to chant to trance. From trance to healing, to memory to rock.
From rock to town.
From town to rock.
From town to rock.
Eternity.
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 So that's one of the poems from the book. It's the one that I wrote, but we have a number of poets that contributed to the book. This was a project inspired by the Khoisan culture. And I'm sure most of you know or are familiar with the rock art that's found in the Drakensberg. Oh, I love that word, ukhahlamba, like a peach in your mouth. And it's rock art that most of you would be able to say, "Oh, wait, hang on, isn't that someone hunting? Isn't that somebody gathering? Oh, that looks like an eland." But I don't know how many of you are familiar or have actually seen in situ, in other words, gone to a rock art site that includes geometric shapes. And it's these shapes. Hang on. Technical itch. He's not used to wearing cloaks. There we go. All right. So these geometric shapes that are found not only in South Africa but worldwide. You find them in Ireland, you find them in South America, in other parts of Africa, in Scotland, in England. But it's these that are in South Africa made by the Khoi and the San, the hunter-gatherers and the herders in the past that have inspired the project and this book. So you might wonder why. My first encounter with them in situ was in a place where most people wouldn't expect to find rock art, and that was in Vereeniging in Gauteng. There's a rock art site just outside of Vereeniging that is housed by the Valtech Naraman. I was working there as an education officer for the museum, and it has geometric shapes pounded into the rock. You heard the word pound. And I was fascinated by it because there's no longer a river there, but you can see there was a riverbed. And I was really triggered as to, okay, I know there's a theory for rock paintings, especially the theory of, okay, some people would say they were just painted for painting's sake, art for art's sake. Whereas other people would say, No, they're telling a story about a hunter and a gatherer. But the most prominent theory is by David Lewis Williams, and that is that it was made during trance. So the images of, for example, the elite would be when the shaman or the traditional healer was dancing around the fire. You saw how they were doing, until he went into a trance, and he would harness spiritual power either to make rain or to heal. And so I wondered, how does this relate to the geometric shapes? So David Lewis Williams would say that when you go into trance, that first phase, and this is what learners learn in grade 10 if they're doing visual arts. It's part of the curriculum. They learn about African art and they learn about rock art. And so they learn predominantly this theory of David Lewis Williams, that you see shapes in your mind. Similar to if some people see it when they're going to have an epileptic fit. Some people, if they are, for example, going under hypnosis. So he would say then that the traditional healers in that first phase of trance would see these shapes and they would then engrave them on the rock. And that is what triggered my quest to say, but hang on, is that what the other Khoi or Sand saw when they went and saw this on the rock? Did they see trance shapes? Or did they see something else? And so I started doing reception studies. Now, a reception study is where you show somebody something, Lauren knows all about this, and then you record what their answers are, and to understand the way people think and the power of visual literacy. So, let's do this to you now. Do you mind? Okay. So, I'm going to just use this shaker as a pointer, but I'll ask Jabu to go around as well. So what we're going to do is I'm going to ask you what you see in a shape, Angela and Noluthando. So you can do it in English or isiZulu. Afrikaans, I'm not sure if they'll be able to hear you.
I can write Afrikaans. Afrikaans for the time.
Angela will write in Afrikaans. Okay. And they're going to write it and they're going to pin it next to the shape. Okay. And this gives you an idea of how this project was started. I showed people the image on a Zoom, over a Zoom, and then they wrote down their thoughts. Afterwards, the artists got into their different groups, like the visual artists, the dancers, etc. They took the words and they were like, what can this inspire us now to create? All right, so what do you see when you look at this shape? Can you show that? You just shout it out, and there's no right or wrong answers, none whatsoever. It's a zigzag shape, so but what do you see?
Birds flying.
Birds, okay. Right, we've got birds, so you can put birds down. Something else, sorry?
Lightning, waves.
Lightning, waves, all right. You can just write lightning and waves. What do you see? Mountains. Now I can tell you the interesting thing. The first reception study I did was people in the Kalahari. I didn't ask, are you San or Khoi or whatever. It was just, you live in the Kalahari. All these words that you've said were said by that group. When I did this with the group now, which included people from, as Ms. Mahal said, sorry, I call you Ms. Mahal now because the passport competition called her that. From Western Cape, from Kalahari, from rural areas, old people, young, all said those words as well. Lightning, birds, mountains, waves. Someone said something else. Zigzag. Yes. Roads. Did someone say roads? Yes. Okay. And that is the predominant thing that has come out with this, is that the same thing we all read it as are things from nature. So nature is what we all see, and that is the common thing between all of us. And then we link it to where we live. So some people, for example, might say it looks like embroidery. You know? Some people might say that. All right, let's go to another one. What about this one here? No, which one? What about that one? Max. Fence. Okay, fence. Anything else? Window, fence. Dr. Ngubani?
Fence.
Oh, fence. Okay, fence. So things that keep you away. All right, a gate or fence. Good. We're going to then move on to this one in the middle.
Special.
What did someone say? Snake. Snail, yes, or shell. What do you want to say?
Coil.
Coil.
It could be a snake.
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 Alright. Now, I didn't say snake because I said snake, but that is a very common reading, is a snake or a rope or coil. And some people interpret it as confusion or whirlwind. Okay. But one of the common aspects as well that the people in the Kalahari interpret these signs on are linked to the story of a water creature. We won't say the isiZulu name because it's not good to say it. We're not even saying the Afrikaans name. We'll just call it a water creature or water deity. And so they link this to that when the young girls go to the river, they wear similar shapes painted on their faces for their puberty ritual. And so David Morris, that we'll hear a bit from later, he suggested that these then are made to protect the young girls when they go to the river from that water creature. So that's one of the things. All right, we've covered these three, and we've got birds, we've got a whirlwind or chaos or a snake, and we've got a gate or fence. What did you interpret it as when you were in this project? And that's in the book now.
Yes, I personally interpreted it as my grandmother's doing or embroidery. But our team as well, we interpreted it as a cage or a prison. We did a lot of our workshops in the Castle of Good Hope in Cape Town, and we thought around how many people were imprisoned there. And so this also connected it as well.
And what else? What about the one on the top that they interpreted? Did you ever find something you interpreted the same as?
Yes, we interpreted this as Ubuntu, unity, a heart shape, like there's the grass on top and in the circle. So it is very much around unity and Ubuntu. Yeah.
And anything else, Noluthando? The one near you? I saw someone put bird.
Yes.
Yes. So we did actually. Our team did see birds, which inspired the story that we wrote. So you're gonna hear about the story later on. But yeah, some people saw birds. Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a bit about that story?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So we wrote a story inspired by these geometric shapes and the different interpretations that people shared. So we wrote a story about this little bird who was just, flying in the sky, and then suddenly this wind, this tornado came, which was inspired by this shape. This tornado came and it swooshed her away, and then she fell into the ground. And little did she know that there on the ground was a cage. So now she was trapped. And then the other animals come and they help her to break free. But if you wanna, get into detail with the story, buy the book. The story is
Thanks. Thank you very much. I mentioned that it was the koi, and sand geometrics that inspired us. The theory is that it was mainly the koi who did the engravings because they were at the river, they were herders, and they would need to be at the river with their animals. But the sand did include a lot of geometrics in the paintings as well. So I'd like to introduce you in a video to the the sand elders that were part of this project and are also part of this book. And they are Worm or Opa, Isak, depending on your age, and Ma or Oma, Lydia, also according to your age, Crapper. And we were very blessed to have them actually with us in the Castle of Good Hope. And their interpretations of these geometrics are included in the book as well. So the book doesn't just include isiZulu and English, but it does also include Nama and Afrikaans. And although Nama is not one of the official languages of South Africa, there are many people who still speak it. and the specialist of and activist for the Nama language, who has been part of the previous book we had here last year, Messy Matters, and this project. His name is Pedro Dowsar. And I just want to read a short extract that he's from what he's written. He actually said it in Afrikaans and we translated it. And he called it my mother tongue Nama. And he says, what do you say when someone asks, does anyone still speak your language? Isn't your language extinct yet? It is sad that someone should ask you this. Is Nama in such a bad way that its continued existence is in question? The language is still alive. Listen to me. My mother tongue is still alive. I still speak it, I write it. You should see all my books. I have my Nama Bible and a range of educational books in Nama. Nama must not die. It can live. It is important that it is written in future literature and that it is incorporated into projects. The Nama language will continue as long as it is seen and heard in books, articles, and on the radio. And I think that's true for all of our languages, isn't it? Yeah. So yes, so we were very fortunate to have Pedro as well as a descendant of the Khoi herders as part of the project. Now, we have some of the people here, you don't have to see them on screen, and who are part of the project and have contributed to the book. And one of these is the young lady you've met before, Angela Del Fava. So she will share a little bit about her experience and entertain us as well.
Thank you so much, Auntie Mary. Yes, it was such an honor and such a privilege to be part of the workshops and just creating the book. I remember I was in grade 6 and we just got DSTV for the first time. And I wasn't so yet interested in Disney Channel, but Nat Geo channels. I was so glued. I don't know if you were like confused or something, but I was so glued to the Nat Geo channels where this group of men that go into like far remote places in the desert and they'll find like these little shapes and they'll narrate a whole story out of it. And that blew my mind, just of how like one image, one picture literally carried 1,000 words. And so I was so convinced that I was going to be an archaeologist. And so I went to my teacher and I said, sir, I'm going to be an archaeologist, because honestly, like up until grade 6, whenever they'd say, what do you want to be when you grow up? I never knew. But for the first time I knew, like, I'm going to be the archaeologist. And so I go and I shared with him. And honestly, I don't think he knew what an archaeologist was. Honestly, like he honestly demotivated me. But here I am today, an archaeologist, not an archaeologist, a little bit of archaeologist. And oh man, I was part of the visual arts team. And so we looked at some of the shapes you saw earlier, the spiral. We created this umbrella that had like the spiral on top, and for us, just an umbrella, like we all can relate, it's a very rainy day. The umbrella protects you from rain and from storms, and for us, that's what the stories of those who come before us are. It's a shelter. It helps us to get to where we need to go, protected. And so out of just looking at these shapes, it was so beautiful to create that, and I couldn't wait to get home to sit with my granny and say, hey, tell me your story. So I got it on video and I'm busy transcribing it now. But really just this book, everything in it, it's such, for me, it encouraged me to really just observe those who have gone before me, see where I'm at now, and for me as well, to document my story as well for those who are coming after me. So even as you look at the book, buy the book, really just be encouraged to write down your story so that you can pass it on well to the next generation. And so as I conclude, I'd like to introduce a poem. It's called Tracking. It's written by Gracia Lowe, and it just really encompasses it just really encompasses what we've been speaking about walking the walk, but also looking back and dreaming for a hope in the future. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tracking.
As I track, the tracks cut through me.
Icons and patterns, rivers and trees. I appreciate as we gaze, we are not altogether lost. We are encircled by a maze of the past, enlightened with every step, every story, every voice.
Sanibonani, Dumelang, Henda, Namaste, Nyanbingelela, greet you all. I am Jabu. My bio's in the book, so you really be supporting us by purchasing the book and checking out my bio. But there's more into purchasing it actually, and I want to second what Angela actually spoke about. What we've written and what we were able to conclude will be going out to generations. So we are pleased to be inspiring the generations to come.
Yes.
Hey, I played a very big role in the project. So, as you can see, I've got these two shakers which I will tell you about shortly. But the biggest thing for me about this project, hey, was that I went to Cape Town for the first time last year. So big ups to that. You can give me a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. It was an amazing experience for me actually going out to be part of this project. And I played a very big role in it. I thought it was small, but when I looked at the outcome of everything, it was an amazing role. And like you've seen, we met two phenomenal elders who go by the name of Isak and MeL. And I kid you not, they are the best. Every night, every morning seeing them was an amazing experience. And they gave me a very important name which I firmly inherited. They gave me a name titled Gao Aim, which means leader of the next generation. And I was like, wow. I was like, wow. So that there for me was a big thing. And yes, you might wonder why I'm holding shakers. So I had a very important role to play in this project of creating a sound. Many of us, we use our ears to listen. So I had to think of creating a sound so that people can actually enjoy what they're watching. And the shakers, I took and I was like, okay, we've got a bird. Let me use the shakers as seeds. So if you're right there in the basket, you can catch for yourself. I know that caught you. And on my left hand side, that's what I was doing. So this is exactly what I was doing in creating the sound. And I also played one of my favorite instruments, which is the drum. And it was an amazing experience for me, being part of the project, sitting down with the dancers and hearing their view and what sound they were actually looking for, especially when it came to their dance moves, including the poetry and the songwriting department. And all of that was inspired by the geometric shapes, which is also now in the book titled Geomotional. Thank you so much.
Good evening, you all look so beautiful. My name is Noluthando Shandu, and in the project, it was really a beautiful experience, and it holds a very special place in my heart, because as a creative, sometimes like I go through season where I get very geomotional when like it's the art that I'm creating, like even making impact, like should I carry on? And just seeing how these geometric shapes that were done by artists back then inspired us now during this project, I was like, okay, girl, carry on, because art carries so much power. And yeah, so I was part of the storytelling and the songwriting group. And so one of the songs that we wrote is speaking about, so you see some people said the birds, so we saw birds and then there's a circle of Ubuntu and the cage. So you hear in the song, so you say we're caught in the whirlwind of history, because as Angela said, we were in the Castle of Good Hope. So like what the stories that we were listening from the elders and from everything that was going on, and then that's how we got together and wrote this song. Please sing along, it's very easy. So yeah, you're gonna sing the song. I'd like to call with Angela and Jabu to come and sing the song. The song is also in the book, so if you wanna know the lyrics, buy the book. Yes. Caught in the whirlwind of history, caught in the whirlwind of history, yeah. Caught in the whirlwind of history, stories will lead us to where we must be, releasing joy, reclaiming peace. We are here and we are free. Caught in the whirlwind of history, our stories will lead us to where we must be, releasing joy, reclaiming peace. And we are here and we are free. Our mere existence, the declaration of existence. Our mere existence, the declaration of existence. Our mere existence, the declaration of existence. Our mere existence, the declaration of Say for your mom, say for your pop, Jabu Nxumalo Joanne. Say for your sister, say for your brood, and we are here and we are free. Say for your mom, say for your pa, Jabu Nxumalo Joanne. Say for your sister, say for your brood, and we are here and we are free. Our mere existence, a declaration of resistance. 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 Next, we'd love to read for you. Alright. Next, we'd love to read for you on a lighter note. On a lighter note, we'd love to read for you a poem written by Nomusa Mabaso titled My Love.
Sithandwa sami, ngibhalele incwadi, ngishiyele uhambo lwakho. Ngizobele inhliziyo yakho, ngivezele umlilo wezandla zakho. Umlilo emsebenzini wakho. Amadwala acula inhliziyo yakho. Imizobo ichaza indlela yakho. Izinyoni zezulu zihaqwa yilangabi lomyalezo wakho. Imvelo ivunguza ukuphefumulelwa ezindongeni zamadwala. Zoba ngemibalabala, qopha, cindezela, namathisela inhliziyo yakho ukuze nezizukulwane zibone uhambo lwakho.
Write me a note. Inscribe your journey for me. Let me share your heart. Reveal the sparks of your hands, the fire in your art. Rocks sing your soul. Markings trace your path. The birds of the air surrounded by the flame of your message. Nature breathes inspiration into the walls of the rocks. Be creative.
document, pound, engrave your hearts, that generations may share our journey.
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Jabu. So I will be reading a message that the poet herself, Nomusa, said because she couldn't make it today because of the rain. So I'll just read her message. It goes. Greetings to you all esteemed guests, the support staff at Bergtheil and fellow writers. Today marks a special day where we once again gather to embrace the work of our hands, the work we poured in our hearts and souls. I am humbled by the ancient voices that whisper through the rocks, the rock art that adorns our caves, the mountains, and our values, a window into our ancestors' souls, a glimpse into their deepest fears, desires, and dreams. The rock art speaks to us in a language that is both familiar and foreign. It tells us of a time when humans lived in harmony with nature, when the rhythms of the earth were the rhythms of their hearts. It reminds us of our place within the grand tapestry of life, our responsibility to honor the land and its creatures. As a poet, I am drawn to the rock art because it speaks to me of the power of imagination, of the human spirit's capacity to transcend time and space. It reminds me that even in the darkest of times, there is always beauty to be found and always a story to be told. So let us cherish these ancient voices. Let us honor the land. Let us remember that we are not separate from nature, but connected to the very threads of life. And as we walk away from these ancient masterpieces, let us carry their whispers with us. Let us remember the stories that they tell us. Let us strive to leave our own mark upon the world.